All right, we got a dead fish fresh off the hook. It was towed here today because it won't start. The owner said he was driving down the street when it just stalled. He hasn't been able to start it since. So what we're gonna do today is figure out why it won't start. Now this was at another shop before. They told him it needs an engine. They didn't tell him why it needs an engine, so he's here for a second opinion. All right, let's see what's under the hood here. Try to figure this out. Hopefully he doesn't need another engine, because those are pretty expensive. I think the shop quoted him $7,000 for the engine. He doesn't want to pay that. And I can see why. This car is not worth $7,000 probably. Let's go, I don't see a battery. Let's go back in the trunk. We need to get the battery ready. So we're going to be doing a lot of cranking, I suspect. And I want to get the power supply on the battery. Yeah, here it is. Looks like a fairly new battery, but we're gonna be giving it a workout, so let's get that hooked up. This isn't just a power charger or a battery charger, it's a power supply. And this is able to deliver a constant 100 amps to a battery, so really I can run any accessory on this car as long as I want, except for the starter. The starter's probably gonna take a lot more than that. But otherwise, this thing is going to keep the battery good and healthy. This uses really long cables. They're actually welding cables. They're pretty thick. It's a good little unit here. We're going to go negative to negative, positive to positive here. All right, I'm going to set this to supply. And let's go 13.7 volts here, 13.8. So now this is just going to continue to run while we're doing our testing. Let's go ahead and give it a crank and see what it sounds like. All right. Contact. Oh, I heard a little something. Try it one more time. Okay. That doesn't sound good. Now, we've got that power supply on the battery, so I don't think it's a low charge that's causing it to crank like that. I don't like that at all. So I think first thing we're going to do is give it a look at the relative compression on this thing and see what it's got. We're going to do that electronically. Let's get out a little bit of equipment here. Okay, this is just a voltmeter or oscilloscope. And we're going to use a amp clamp. So this is something that's just going to measure how many amps of current are flowing from the battery to the starter. Let's get this turned on and set up. Show you what that looks like while we're doing it. I can turn this to 60 amps, and we're going to go to scope. All right, I've got channel 1 turned on. Let's see what that looks like when I hook it up to the battery. I'm just gonna go around the negative battery cable here. All right, watch the screen, let me know what it looks like here. Let's crank it up. So there we go. It looks like we've got just under 300 amps, probably 280 or so. And it's got a flat line, except for these two dips. It's just got a flat line of current. And what we're hoping to see is peaks and valleys every time a piston comes up to top dead center, which we're not seeing here. So I'm gonna record this screen right here. If we've got a mechanical problem with the engine, that might be the reason why the shop said it needs an engine. Let's go ahead. I think what we're going to do next is look inside the engine. Let's take out a few spark plugs. Let's see if that changes anything. All right, I pulled all of the ignition coils and one spark plug from each of the cylinders. I've got them over here. They look really nasty. This one, which one is it? This one right here, I think it was. No, this one. This was loose, so it didn't get as wet. These all are wet with gasoline. They smell like gas. This one was barely finger tight inside of there. Anyway, all the coils are out. Let's go ahead and use a compression gauge. And I'm going to go into the number 1 cylinder. We're going to see what we got. Yeah, this thing, all these Hemis have 16 spark plugs, so 2 per cylinder. So this one has a spark plug in it, and then I've got the compression gauge hose in the other hole. So if it's making compression, we'll be able to see that on the gauge. And if I left all the plugs out, well, they wouldn't make compression because there'd just be a big hole in there. So there it is, it's zeroed out. Let's see what she makes. I'll leave it right there for you. Oh, that didn't sound good. Yeah, it didn't sound good at all. We have 0 PSI of compression here. That sounds really bad. Let me pull this out. I heard a little bit of thumping, maybe, I don't know. Let's see what it sounds like with nothing in there. Okay, so it looks to me like this thing is either way out of time, or the camshaft isn't turning, or it went way out of time, crashed the engine, and all the valves are bent, but it is not making any compression, probably on any cylinder at this point. So I think what I want to do is just have a peek inside the engine and see if there is any damage. So we're gonna get the Borescope out, we're gonna stick it down in there, see if we see any kibbles and bits down in there, or whatever we see, I don't know. Pretty interesting, let's go check it out. All right, I've got the Borescope ready to go here. Turn it on, we're just gonna go in the number 1 cylinder where we just were. All right, we're ready to go here. Let's go down here into number 1. Try to make it through the spark plug hole. Ooh, look at all that. I don't know what that is. Oh, that must have been fuel when we were cranking it without anything in there. And what is that? That, I don't know. It's not supposed to have anything blocking the spark plug hole, right? I don't know. Let's go down to the, we'll get past that. Ooh, we got some damage on that piston there. And it's round. Let me go up and see what the heck. Oh, look at that. That is a valve seat. And yeah, oh my gosh. That, I don't know, is that, is probably the intake valve, is that right? But check that out, it's, oh man, that cylinder head is chewed up. The seat, the valve seat is cracked right there. See that crack? And of course, let's go back down. Yeah, and there is the, wow, that's the damage where it hit the top of the piston. You can see on the left side and a little bit over there on the right, right over by the cylinder wall. It kissed it real good. So that is conclusive evidence on at least cylinder 1. I wonder why it fell out like that. If this engine got really hot, maybe it dropped that valve seat. But I don't know. I can't imagine. Let me go back out of here. I wonder what the rest of these cylinders look like. Did they all get damaged like that? This piston top looks pretty good. Let's check the valves. Oh, that one is open, it looks like. The valve seat is still in it. It's not hanging out. I don't know why that is open, if it's supposed to be open right now or not. Ooh, look at this. Cylinder 3. It's got like a pool down at the top of the piston there. Maybe fuel from all that. And then see the side of the, right there, the side of the cylinder bore. It's covered in that, and it could be fuel. It might be oil. Look at the top here. I don't see any damage. It looks pretty nasty in there. What's interesting is that number one cylinder, man, it's so damaged, but the rest of the engine, I don't see, I can't really get in there much because that piston is too far up. And that piston is nasty. Look at that guy. It's cooked, we'll call it. Let's do a quick run around the whole car here. Mine as well. We'll see all 8 cylinders and what's going on, you know? So I would say that, see what I see here? This is number 5. I'm guessing it's number 5. Ooh wee, look at that. I don't know how Dodge numbers their cylinders, but this looks like we have the same issue as we do on number 1. Let's have a look here. Yeah, there it is. Drop that valve seat also. Whew, man. And then let's go real quick into the other ones and see what we have. Oh, whoa. We have damage, folks. There's wow. There's some parts laying in the bottom of that. On top of that piston. That is not good. That's a whole lot of metal that doesn't belong in there. Let me see if I can get it to look up. It's hard to do on this one because the piston's up. I can't really see, but I think we see all that we need to see right there. This thing is trashed. When they said it needs an engine, they weren't lying. Oof, whoa. Wow. Oh man, this is catastrophic. That is absolutely terrible. Sides of the cylinder just streaked up and nasty, beat up. Oh boy, that is really sad for this little car here. Yeah, and then all that there at the bottom. Golly. Wow, look at that. Yeah, this engine is 100% trashed. Well, that's pretty sad. I agree with the original diagnosis that this engine is trashed. It needs to be replaced. There's no way you're gonna rebuild it or save it or anything like that. We're gonna have to look to see what a new engine costs for this thing. Their quote was $7,000. Probably not a bad quote. But I think this comes down to communication. I wish that other shop would have just communicated with the owner of this car and said, hey, the engine is crashed. There's bits and pieces inside the cylinders that don't belong there, and that's why you need an engine. They didn't explain that to him, so he wanted to see if he could get a second opinion and save a little money. I mean, what if it just needed a starter or an injector or whatever? So it's bad news for the owner of this car, but at least now he's going to be able to know actually what's going on. I will show him some pictures from the Borescope and explain that this engine did crash and needs to be replaced. I'm glad you came along with me for this short diagnosis, but you got to see the inside of an engine that is completely trashed. So sometimes you don't need high-tech diagnostic equipment, you just need to be able to look down there and see what's going on mechanically. That's what happened in this case. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.